have some ethical standards, tend to have a certain generality about them for the reasons I just indicated. Ethics are a matter of situation, they're a matter of instances, they're a matter of facts, and they're a matter of judgment. And that is why I think the school is important. That is why I think the interpretive powers of the commission are important, because over time, some institutional memory will develop, some precedents will develop, and even the guidelines, which we think now are very clear, become clearer and attain greater degrees of clarity as we go along. You just have to give the process a chance and let it work. And certainly our standards are, in our estimation, much clearer than the present code that's in the legislative rules, and no less clear. And so a lot of the flack that we're getting now from legislators, I just want to say, again, I'm a lawyer, I live with the code of conduct that is no less general, no less specific than what we have here. And furthermore, you have a code of conduct that you've had in your rules for the last 20, who knows how many years, and it is a lot looser than what we've drafted. In fact, that was one of the things at the hearing that they put up on the board. They split 4 to 4. Here's how they decided the case. They agreed unanimously, all 8, that he had committed conduct unbecoming the legislator. He did not get the review of the committee finding in that respect that our bill would give him, because under our bill, and this could be constitutionally right, he would have had full legislative review. But they said you were guilty of conduct unbecoming the legislator. Then as to the ethics charges under their code of conduct, which they've had for 20 years, and nobody has ever said, this is too vague or too general, we don't, we can't. They've lived with that for years and years and years. Well, finally you have a hearing, and what did they decide? We can't decide. We don't understand our own code, so we take a pass on the ethics. And then there were certain criminal charges that were, violations of criminal statutes, bribery, extortion, inappropriate use of state property. And on those charges, 4 members, all Democrats, found that he was guilty of bribery and extortion by clear and convincing evidence. And 4 members, all Republicans, found that he was not guilty of bribery and extortion using the same standards. So that's the present code and how it is worked, quote unquote, or not worked, as depending on how you view it. And they've lived with the ambiguities, lack of clarity, generality, vagueness, whatever you want to call it. And nobody has ever said anything until we draft this bill, where we've taken the last 3 years of specific experiences of legislative abuse. The legislator who calls a judge in Utah County because he doesn't like the way the judge ruled in a case where his friend was a party. Oh, this legislator just happens to sit on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Is that inappropriate conduct? We have specifically proscribed that. The legislator, who is a lobbyist while he's a legislator, is that specific enough? Yes, we proscribe it. The legislator who leaves his legislative office and immediately becomes a lobbyist. Why did he get that lobbyist job? Was there a payoff while he was a legislator? We don't know. We're suspicious, we're skeptical. We shouldn't have to be doubting or worried about whether they're avoiding the appearance of impropriety. That's specifically prescribed that. How much money should you be able to, which we've told them to the penny, and so on and so forth. And now what we're hearing from legislators throughout the state is, oh, it's so uncertain. We don't know what it means. Well, I personally, I think that's a smokescreen. They just don't want any governance. And they've lived with the ambiguity. We're giving them the independent tribunal now so they can get clear guidance on any concern that they have, and that's a vast improvement over the present system.
Alan, let me horn in on our last couple of minutes and make it clear that when we give examples of what we consider to be inappropriate or unethical behavior in our legislators, and say that we're hearing these things from legislators, what we mean to say is we're hearing complaints and criticisms from some legislators, certainly not all legislators. And in the same breath, let me welcome Representative Craig Powell from House District 54, I believe, because we are holding this hearing in the Uinta Basin region. The region includes Uinta County, Duchesne County, Daggett County, and Summit County. And Representative Powell serves constituents in Duchesne and Summit County. Wasatch. And if I may editorialize, I would like to say Representative Powell, in his first year of his first term, has been a bright light and a wonderful example of a legislator who comes in wanting to do the right things. We invited Representative Powell to a function that UEA hosted in Heber City some time ago, and his first concern was about the lunch that would be provided, and feeling uncomfortable and as if it would be inappropriate to take that lunch without paying for it. One of the things we see happen on the Hill is well-intentioned legislators come in and get caught up in what we believe has become a culture and a climate of entitlement, where it's almost hard to toe that line without running into resistance from some of your own colleagues. And so, anyway, our hope is that if this initiative becomes law, it will help honest legislators remain honest. And so, I'd like to just...
It's like to give a homely example, you're with a bunch of drinking buddies, and one of them says, I decided I'm an alcoholic and I can't touch this stuff anymore. And his presence, in the room is like, the feeling is it's an accusation to everybody. He doesn't mean it to be that way, of course. He's just doing what he thinks is right for him. But there's some of that sense too. And unless everybody has a unity of feeling and a unity of standard and gets so they're all pulling together, in the same ethical harness. And that's the kind of constructive goal we have for this commission. We think the commission can be a facilitator to bring people along and cultivate a different climate, a different culture, where everyone starts to pull in that direction rather than push and pull, against each other, or worse, go in the other direction.
In case you're interested, this initiative for this initiative to get on the ballot, we have to collect a total of about 92,000 signatures statewide. Unlike the referendum in 2007, though, we have to qualify in 26 of 29 Senate districts, as opposed to having to qualify in 25 of 29 counties, like we do with a referendum. So we're looking at a large Senate district here geographically. That's the bad news. The good news is that for Senate District 26, currently represented by Senator Van Tassel, the required number of signatures would be 3,670 for the entire Senate district. Now, practically speaking, out here, we're still